She gave her last plate of food to a stranger, even though she hadn't eaten all day. People laughed at her. They called her foolish. They said kindness doesn't feed anybody, but what nobody knew, not even she herself, was that the hungry man she helped was actually a billionaire in disguise. And the moment he revealed who he truly was, every single person who mocked her went silent. What happened next changed her entire life forever. Before we start this video, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and tell us where you're watching from. Your support means everything. They laughed at her because she was poor. They said she was foolish. They wondered why someone who barely had food herself would choose to give her last meal to a stranger. They didn't know that the beggar she was feeding was actually a billionaire in disguise. And when the truth came out, the whole town could not believe what they saw. Ada was not lazy. She was not useless. She was simply a young woman who life had beaten again and again, yet she refused to lose her kindness. Every morning before the sun even considered rising, Ada was already awake. In a tiny one-room house with peeling paint and cracked walls, she quietly folded her wrapper and tiptoed around so her sick mother could sleep a little longer. Mama Ada had been ill for months, weak, coughing often, and Ada was the only reason she could survive each day. As Ada arranged the small cooler and tray she used to sell food, she glanced at her mother and whispered, "Today will be better, Mama. I will sell enough to buy your medicine." Her mother slowly turned, her voice weak but gentle. "Ada, don't forget to eat today, my daughter." Ada forced a smile, even though she knew she probably wouldn't eat until nighttime. "I will eat, Mama. I cannot die before my miracle comes." She stepped out into the early morning breeze. The roads were still waking up, chickens beginning to scatter, and cars slowly appearing. Ada carried her tray balanced on her hand, calling out to customers the moment she reached the busy street. "Hot rice, hot beans, come and buy, please." Some people walked past her like she was invisible. Some looked irritated. Others priced her food so low that she barely made profit. But Ada remained patient. "One day," she always told herself, "God will remember me." Around noon, the sun grew harsh. Ada felt dizzy from hunger, but she continued walking, smiling at strangers. A group of well-dressed women passed by. One of them, a loud and proud neighbor called Mrs. Faddock, stopped walking just to laugh at Ada. "Look at Ada again," she said to her friend. "Every day she's carrying that same dirty tray. If poverty was a human being, it would look exactly like her." Her friends burst into laughter. Ada pretended not to hear, but their words cut her chest like a blade. Still, she whispered, "God, please bless me today." Hours passed. Ada managed to sell a few plates, but she hadn't eaten anything since morning. Her feet were burning. She sat under a tree to rest. Only one plate of food remained her last hope of eating before going home. As she lifted the plate to eat, she heard a shaky voice behind her. "My daughter, please, is that food for sale?" Ada turned and saw him, a dirty, exhausted old man in ragged clothes. His hair was unkempt, his eyes sunken. He looked like someone who had slept on the street for days. "I haven't eaten in 2 days," he whispered. Ada looked down at the plate. Her stomach twisted painfully. She had saved that food for herself because she knew she would collapse if she didn't eat soon. But when she looked into the old man's trembling eyes, something inside her softened. "Papa, sit down," she said gently. She handed the entire plate to him and even gave him her last sachet of water. The old man was shocked. "My daughter, you're giving me everything?" Ada forced a tired smile. "It's not much, but please eat. God will provide for me." The old man's eyes filled with tears. "God will remember you, Ada. He will not let your kindness go unrewarded." Before Ada could respond, Mrs. Faddock walked by again with 2 other women. When she saw Ada giving her last food to a beggar, she screamed, "Jesus! Ada has finally gone mad. How can a hungry poor girl be doing charity? This is why you will never succeed." They laughed loudly. Ada ignored them, but her heart was heavy. This world was wicked, yet she refused to become like it. Later that day, Ada went home with an empty tray. Mama Ada looked worried. "My daughter, where's your food? Did you sell everything?" Ada nodded. "Yes, Mama." She didn't mention that she hadn't eaten. "But you bought nothing?" her mother asked gently. Ada looked away. Tomorrow will be better. That night, after her mother slept, Ada knelt on the cold floor and cried silently. God, I am not angry. I am just tired, tired of struggling, tired of being mocked. Please, if you are still there, remember me. Please remember me and my mother. Her tears dropped to the floor and she held her chest as if pain was squeezing her heart. In that moment, her prayer was heard, but she didn't know. The next morning, Ada stepped outside to wash her tray when a shiny black SUV drove slowly into the narrow street. It did not fit the neighborhood. Neighbors froze, staring. Some even whispered, maybe they missed the road. The car stopped directly in front of Ada's house. A well-dressed driver stepped out, carrying a small tablet in his hand. Good morning, he said politely. Please, who is Miss Ada? Ada blinked in surprise. I am the one. The driver smiled. My ogre sent me to bring you. He said I should bring the angel who fed me. Ada gasped. Angel? The driver nodded. You will understand. Please call your mother. Both of you must come. Neighbors had already gathered, whispering and gossiping. Angel? Which angel? Is Ada in trouble? Maybe she stole something. Ada helped her mother into the car, trembling with confusion. The SUV drove them out of their poor neighborhood and into a wealthy estate where houses looked like something from television. When they arrived at a massive mansion with tall glass walls and shiny floors, Ada held her mother tightly. Mama, are we dreaming? If this is dream, my daughter, let me sleep forever, Mama, Ada whispered. They were escorted inside. The house was beautiful chandeliers, marble floors, golden decorations. Ada had never seen anything like it. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from the staircase. When Ada looked up, she froze. A handsome, clean, well-dressed man in an expensive suit was walking down. But she recognized his face. It was the same old man she fed yesterday, except he was healthy, neat, and powerful-looking. Ada's mouth dropped open. You, Papa? The man smiled. Yesterday I was hungry. Not because I have no money, but because I wanted to know if true kindness still exists. Ada shook her head in disbelief. So, you're not a beggar? No, he said softly. My name is Mr. Kalu. I own companies, estates, and land, but sometimes I disguise myself to see how people treat those they think are worthless. Tears rushed to Ada's eyes. Mr. Kalu stepped closer. Ada, you gave me your last plate of food, even when you had nothing. You didn't ask who I was. You didn't expect a reward. That kind of heart is rare. He signaled to his staff. Immediately, documents, envelopes, and keys were brought forward. This, he said, handing Ada a key, is the key to your new house. Fully furnished, paid for. Ada's legs shook. This, he continued, giving her another envelope, is a check to help you start your restaurant. A real one, not on the street. A big place with workers. Ada covered her mouth, sobbing. And your mother, he added gently, will receive full medical care from my private hospital. Everything is paid for. Mama Ada collapsed into a chair, crying loudly. God has remembered us! Ada fell to her knees. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Mr. Kalu knelt too and said, When I was poor, nobody helped me. Today, God blessed me so I can help others. And you, Ada, are the purest soul I have met in years. Your kindness saved me. Now let me save you. Later that day, when the SUV returned to their old neighborhood to pack their belongings, everyone gathered in shock. Mrs. Faddock ran out screaming, Ada, what is happening? Who is that man? Where are you going? Ada looked at her calmly and said, To the house God prepared for us. The neighbors who once mocked her now wished they had her heart. The ones who insulted her now stood speechless. And as Ada entered the SUV one last time, the narrator's voice whispered, When you are kind, people will call you foolish. When you forgive, they will say you are weak. When you give, they will say you don't have sense. But heaven is watching. And the day God decides to reward you, no mockery, no gossip, no enemy can stop your blessing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and tell us where you're watching from. We value every one of you.